Counting the
cost of being a personal fitness trainer.
wow, I know you're healthy and you exercise all the time, and I've seen your workout videos once in a while in your Facebook posts. So how did you turn your passion into your business?
Honestly, okay, so I want to tell you a story
Sure.
to answer that. So I was in Korea, and it was February of 2017, and I was thinking and praying actually about this to God and asking Him, like, hey, what do you want me to do? Should I stay in Korea and end up becoming a depression recovery professional and get my PhD, or should I leave to go back to America and become a personal fitness trainer? And as I'm sitting here praying, I asked a friend, and it's like, these are my two choices. I don't know where God wants me. And she literally looked at me and she goes, Pearl, personal fitness, it's all over you. It's totally you. I'm like, what? Really? And she's like, yeah. The last 2 days before my last job as a teacher in Korea, my girlfriend ends up telling me, Pearl, totally, personal trainer. I'm like, are you kidding me? Another friend, and she goes, I actually know somebody in America who has who teaches personal trainers to get certified
Wow.
and get their certification. I was like, whoa, really? And she's like, yeah. I was like, great. So I'm coming back to America with no job, no house, no car. And I'm like, how is this going to even work out? And no joke, this is probably the most amazing story. I ended up praying about this, and I said, God, if really you want me to be a personal trainer, then you need to make this happen. Because I'm coming back to America with no job, no car, no home. I'm only staying with my family like for a little bit, but I need to get this training. So you need to open the door. So I started corresponding with this trainer in Arizona, and I live in California. My husband's parents live in California, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, how is this even going to work out? Right before I'm about to get there, I get a message from him going, oh, so do you have a car? And I go, no. He goes, do you have a place to stay? No. He's like, okay, do you have a job? I'm like, no. and he's like, and I told him, I said, listen, I was like, if God wants me to go to your training studio, I was like, then everything needs to work itself out. And he's like, all right, let me get back to you. And then 1 week before I'm supposed to go there, so my in-laws are asking, I'm already in California, and they're like, Pearl, so what's this thing you want to do? And I told them, I was like, I'm going to be a personal trainer. I'm going to have to go to Arizona. And they're like, who are you staying with? I don't know. How are you going to get there? I don't know. And everyone's looking at me like, what is wrong with this girl? They're like, something's wrong with her, because usually she's got everything planned out and organized. And for the first time in my life, I'm walking into this so blindly and with just such open faith, like, God's going to work it out. And everyone's like, okay, this is weird. What's wrong with Pearl?
Wow.
And so I get a message saying, okay, we found a person for you who you're going to stay with. Can you cook? And I said, yeah, I can cook. And I said, okay, great. So for an exchange, you're going to stay for free as long as you will cook and clean.
Wow.
I was like, sweet deal.
Wow.
And then not only that, they said that they had a client who was willing to drive me to and from the studio.
Wow.
I know. And I was like, okay, this is definitely a God thing. I get there, and lo and behold, I'm staying with this, I think he is an 85-year-old man.
Wow.
Who's a vegan, and he was just the sweetest guy. He gave me the master bedroom, because he was living by himself. And
what do you mean by master bedroom? Big?
A master bedroom,
Like
where
super big?
In America, yeah, it's super big. But in America, it's not. It's like, it's huge. It's like, I get a full, like the whole, even their bathroom was like a studio apartment in Korea.
Oh, wow. The bathroom is big.
Yes.
Oh, now I get it. I get it now. Big bathroom.
Yeah, yeah. So and the bathroom is attached to my bedroom. So my
Wow.
bedroom is the size of a living room in Korea.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm being like, is this for real? Like, wow. So I was like, this must be from God. So I ended up going through the course, and literally 1 week while I'm there, this one of the clients that I'm training says to me, wait a minute, you're gonna stay in Arizona and you don't have a car? Why don't you just take my car? And I'm like, what? Is this like I couldn't even believe it. Like people literally like gave me their
Who
car
said
to
this?
use. One of the clients that I was training.
Wow. The different one.
Yeah, like a different one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So when I first started, so what they do is after you end up getting your training, you end up learning it right away, so that way that you can start getting in and understanding how to work people out. And I was given and assigned a client to start training them, and she and I ended up getting along very well. And she knew I was staying in Arizona, and she just said to me, "Since you're staying here, take my car." And I'm going, are you kidding me? I mean, I haven't even been here a week. Like, how can you just trust me already? I'm so shocked that someone would just trust me with their car. And it was just amazing. I had so much freedom in Arizona. I went and drove many different places while still going to school, working, and
Wow.
cooking and cleaning the house, and got my education pretty much there. And it was just such a blessing. And I just couldn't be, I was like, okay, this is what God wants me to do. And so
Wow.
all throughout this, like my personal training business, I've always given it to God because I always said,
Wow.
if He wanted me to become a trainer, then He's gonna have to open doors. And so my journey as a personal trainer has been amazing. Like it's had its ups and downs. I'm not gonna lie. Like there have been times where I have literally laid down on the floor crying my eyes out,
I
because I'm
understand.
struggling in my business,
I understand.
not feeling like I have enough
Yeah.
clients, or how am I going to make it through the next month, or,
Yeah.
being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Yeah. I
Like,
understand.
you know that struggle, man,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. It
And you're
fluctuates.
like, yes. So right before I got this studio, I was working for, I actually in California after I finished my training. I moved to California, and I ended up renting a studio, and immediately I was having clients, and it was great. And then my husband came back from Korea, and he ended up getting a job in Tennessee. So I had to shut my gym down and then move to Tennessee, where I had no client, no reputation, nothing. So I had to start from scratch, and I was just like, okay, God, what am I gonna do? And God just opened up doors slowly, and then He gave me wisdom to actually work at a gym. And from there, after working there, I built up enough clients and my reputation that when I moved out and I felt like God was calling me to move out for a long time, but I kept resisting. And there was a pivotal moment in my life where it was just kind of like I finally surrendered. And in that surrender, things started opening up, and I've been working for 2 years with an app and trying to build my app. I have over 730 videos of exercise videos up, and it's just been amazing to see all of the things that have happened. And now I'm working with a nonprofit organization called F5 Challenge, and it's amazing because they ended up, like, I actually knew the organizer from 5 years ago who, after I had quit my job at a gym and opened my studio, God opened the door for this person to contact me right at the very pivotal moment when I
Wow.
had just finally quit. And I could open that door and be like, yes, I can help, and yes, I can create a 6-week boot camp for your company. And
Wow.
it was amazing, and it all happened. And it just launched, the boot camp just launched January 9th.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you moved from California to Arizona, and then you
Arizona back to Tennessee, to California, California to Tennessee.
Tennessee, and then you were working at the gym for 2 years, and then you quit working for that gym, and then another door opened up. You said,
Yes.
"Oh my, that's crazy."
Yeah. I know.
Wow. So
Yeah.
how did you develop the app?
So I ended up researching a lot of fitness programs, and there was one. So there's a lot of apps that are already like, like kind of like a web hosting site, or like Wix is a web hosting site
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
you can
Yeah.
alter it and change it to fit your needs.
Yeah.
Well, there are apps that are like that as well.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, so you take those, and then you would you would pay into it, obviously, to get the features that you want
Ah, I see.
integrated into your app. So, I mean, it's so far it's so good. Like I was frustrated because I went through one app, then in the middle of the year decided this wasn't working out because Apple and Google take 30% of what you
Oh,
make through the app.
wow.
But if you charge people through your website and you give your programs via the app, and
Uh-huh.
there's no payment plans in your app, then technically it could be for free.
Oh.
So that was amazing. I found that it was a really great way for me to like keep the cost low for my clients, and be able to pay for my studio
Oh.
fees and everything.
So apps are more economical for the users than the website, you said?
No, apps, well, yes and no. I would say yes and no. I think that economically, sorry, my cat's playing. Economically, I would say, like, in a sense, yes, as long as you're not making your apps being paid, like if you're not getting payment through the app, then yes.
Uh,
Um, because the moment you have people pay through the app, then it is a legal right of Apple and Google to take 30% of whatever you're making.
ah, I
So
see.
that was one of the things I learned about, and so I went with another app and had to revamp and input all of my new data in that, and it was challenging, and I cried a lot over it, just the frustration of starting over, you know. But a year into it, God is good. Like I really have nothing else to say but just a total gratitude.
So it was worth dropping the former one and launching the new one.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. So did you make 330 videos on the spot in America, or did you already have videos available?
No, I had to make all of these all in America.
You made all of them?
Yeah,
Wow.
and I had to record, edit, upload all of that. Like, I mean, and I'm still constantly uploading stuff because with different people, I have like right now I'm in the process of creating a 6-week knee recovery program. So with that, I'm going to have to demonstrate different exercises that pertain to those specific needs, and then I'll also record myself coaching videos like discussing anatomy or whatever pertains to that particular program. So it takes a lot of time out of my hands to be able to do, but once the program's set, it automatically sets up videos for people to watch in a consecutive order. So then that way it helps them go through it each day and gives them exercises to do that they would follow and input into the app.
Wow, it sounds fantastic. Actually, I have questions about your experience of transitioning from A to B. So, how was your transition from being an employee to being an entrepreneur?
Whew. I would say, it's funny. It's funny because I find it hilarious because we sit here and I think when we're in an employment situation, we always think, oh, I can't stand doing this like 9 to 5. But then it's hilarious because when you become an entrepreneur, you're working like more than 9 to 5.
Yep. Way more.
Right? It's like 24/7.
But you don't feel like you're working all those hours. hours though.
Exactly, and that's the thing is that it's just the passion is different,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I think that's the huge transition is that when I went from working for a company, first when I was a teacher, I hated it, and I used to like complain being a teacher my whole life, no, the entire time I worked, but I found myself falling in love with helping people exercise and learning about health and fitness and stuff like that. And even when I was in Korea, I had created the Less Midge About It YouTube channel, and a lot of people ended up that supported me. I mean, I wasn't famous or anything like that. Never got to that point. It was just like something I did for fun. Enjoyed teaching people about how to be vegan or plant based in Korea. Because at the time in 2009, like nobody even heard what vegan was. They're like,
Yeah, yeah.
vegan, what's that? So now it's like super cool because I don't feel like this huge transition phase of my life of where like I took my passion and made it into something that I enjoy doing. And even if it is quote work, it doesn't even actually feel like what you said. It doesn't feel like work because it's
Uh-huh.
something I'm really enjoying.
Mm. Wow. That's fantastic. That's exactly the same way I felt. When I complained a lot when I was working for somebody because everything they were telling me to do sounded so stupid, and I was like, I'm not doing any of that when I got my own business going. And now it's such a mind game. Sometimes you're super happy, things are going well. Sometimes things don't go well the way you want, and you're struggling. So I think is a very different kind of work. Um, uh, Another question about transition is so you went through I think three different phases, running your own studio and working for the gym, and right now you're working through the app. So how have been those transitions?
Well, I would say the first transition was actually I still do the studio and the app is still interlocked together
Okay.
because my clients, so I have clients that have access to the app, and then I give them homework. I call it homework
Oh.
that they have to do when they're not with me. So it kind of
Oh.
helps them get onto that. And I have quite a few clients that actually enjoy that because also I feel like not everybody has the finances to pay a trainer 3 times a week.
Uh-huh.
But if they're coming to me, but if they can afford twice a week and they have the app, then they can also do homework for
Wow.
themselves to help empower them
Wow.
to get a fitness mindset. Because one of the things that I want to do is I want to empower people
Mm.
to live a healthy lifestyle. I don't want to just like, oh, let me do everything for you. You come 3 times a week and then you don't actually do anything for yourself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So with the app, it helps me track their progress and everything, and that they've done it. And I often ask them like, how's the app going? Like, are you feeling like it's helping you out? Is there something you need to change? And for a lot of people, they find that okay, yeah, like this is actually working for me. And for the ones that are like, girl, I'll be honest, I won't use an app. I'd just rather come to you. I'm like, all right, at least you're honest, Like I don't waste their time.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is one of the things that I had to learn is just the communication with my
Mm.
clients of who is going to be more independent minded and
Mm.
people who are more like, I just want to work out, feel good, I want to feel good about my body. And there's just so much psychology too with the fitness industry and just trying to get people to have a healthier concept of
Wow.
what it looks like to live healthy.
Wow. I used flyers I put in front of the doors in the beginning of my business, and then I used banners that are put up in official places that is super uh ineffective. And then you went to the neighbor community cafe or Korea web portal site, and then that seemed to be working pretty well now. So how are you able to get your business known?
So this is something that where God and I talked. I said to him, I said, God, this is your business, and I'm not going to advertise.
Wow.
I said, like if you want it to grow, then you're gonna have to send me people because, like I want this to be about you. It's not about me. And the first year that I did it, I would say initially, like this is something that I for nothing. And barely got anybody.
Oh,
And you know what ended up working the most for me was word of mouth.
that's
Like
true.
people who worked
Yeah.
with me and who have really enjoyed, like my services, like they're the ones honestly that I give credit to sharing, about. But I also give honor to God because I feel like, what, He opened this door for me to work with FI Challenge, which was so unexpected. Like who would have known that I'd even be able to do something crazy like that? And there's also another huge project that they're involving me with, but I can't say anything about yet because still on the download. But in any case, but yeah, it just is such a blessing to me to see, like, I feel like when we take our passions and we really turn them to God, and I know sometimes as an entrepreneur, you're not always going to feel this way, but in hindsight, I would say that you generally will see God's hand in your business if you're really willing to give it to Him. And sometimes it's hard to see when you're in the trenches and you're in a valley, but
Uh-huh.
the moment you get on the mountaintop and you
Uh-huh.
look back and you see all the things that He did,
Yeah.
then you're like on this high, and then you roll down the hill again because your
Yeah.
head is in the way.
I feel like it's like this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's not like this, but it's like this. It's going up and down, going up and down. It has a pattern going up. So
Yeah, and then sometimes it's hard, I think for people who are entrepreneurs and are faith based, I think it's one of the hardest things to really tap into the consistency of our faith during the difficult times,
that's true.
and like being able to constantly trust and so yeah. But I'm grateful, honestly.
Wow, that's amazing. So pretty much you were able to gain a lot of confidence uh, and word of mouth through your experience at the gym for 2 years. But one thing I don't understand fully is that for 2 years you were working for somebody, so you were supposed to bring people to that gym and then lock them up there. So does that mean they moved with you when you moved out? Is that what happened?
So yes and no.
Okay.
So I would say yes and no. So not every um I tried to be as integrable as possible, or to have that integrity,
Mm,
and to be respectful to
mm,
my previous
mm.
gym,
Yeah.
in that I never tried to quote steal, right, from people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So one of the things I told people is that as long as you're no longer with or have a contract with that other
Oh, I
gym,
see, I
then
see.
you're free to go wherever you decide.
I see, I see.
And so some people had got rid of their contract or have already finished their contract,
Oh, I see.
and so they came with me.
Wow.
But also, I had people that I'd already had on the side
Uh-huh.
that I ended up
Oh, I
meeting
see, I see.
and training them
Oh, I
that
see.
had nothing to do with the previous gym. So I was
Oh.
actually doing both.
Oh, I
I've been
see.
doing my personal side gig
Uh-huh.
and worked for a company.
Wow.
So then finally when I left, those things just kind of merged together, and the people who wanted to continue with me continued with me. And I have some people who still contact me, that are like, oh, Pearl, I just finished, so hey, and that's been kind of a rarity. So it's like kind of a blessing that people still remember me.
Wow, that's amazing. So the gym owner doesn't see you as a competitor or anything?
The gym owner, well, here's the thing. When I left on different circumstances
Okay.
so I left due to family issues
Oh, I see.
that I had recently, because due to COVID, actually, the
Oh, I
COVID
see.
issue.
I
I
see.
had to care for my brother and his entire family, and I didn't know when I would be back.
Uh-huh.
So that caused me to be gone for more than 2 weeks, and I was
Oh.
actually gone for a month.
Oh.
1 month. And
Wow.
so I actually resigned from that company
Oh, I
due
see.
to family issues. So I didn't leave like, oh, I'm taking off, I'm starting a new business. It was like, okay, sorry, I have to take care of family. I
Oh, I see.
left. And then I was just like, well, since I've already left, I
Nice.
guess I'll just start my career.
Oh, I see. Wow. So that experience did help you a lot, but that was a very good springboard, I guess. And then family issue came up, and that really triggered you to start your own.
Yeah.
I
And I've
see.
been praying about it too, which was so crazy. I've been praying about it, like, and I was planning on quitting, and then the COVID thing happened. The moment I finally, it was funny because I had cried for like I remember it was like in November, the end of November, I was like crying like to God, like what do you want me to do with my business? Because I feel like it's tanking right now, and because I couldn't split myself between two places, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was getting very popular at my gym where I would literally book from 12 to 8. Like
Wow.
sometimes like no spots, no rest,
Wow.
you
Really?
know, yeah. But I wasn't being paid enough. That was the problem. Like
Ah, I
I
see.
wasn't being paid properly,
Mm.
and so that was the issue I was having. So I
Oh,
was
I see.
like, you know what? I know I could make more on my own.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, all right, so this is how we're gonna do it. And then the moment I made that decision, okay, Lord, I will quit. And I wrote down the date of when I was gonna quit, October 14th. And then my brother ended up getting COVID a week later, and I had no, and then like I had to stay there, and I was gone for a month. So it just worked out that I was like, I'll just give my resignation letter, because I was planning on quitting anyways. So
Wow.
might as well give it. And so it's just like God just opened that door for me, and I felt like He did it in a way so it didn't look as though I was trying to like quote steal people out. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
So
see.
I just feel like it worked out in
Wow.
God's favor.
So the August 14th was an approximate date.
October
What?
14th.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah,
October
October 14th.
14th.
So did it land on exact day or was it around the same time?
October 13th was when I gave my resignation letter.
Wow. So it was pretty much exact,
Yeah,
almost exact.
yeah. I was just like, this is crazy.
Wow. It sounds like your whole life story has been directed by someone bigger than you.
No, I'm telling you, that's how I feel. Like when I look back, I'm just kind of like, but it's that surrender. I think that when you truly surrender your plans and your dreams, like you're gonna find that God will ultimately make it to the right thing.
Wow, that's so beautiful. So, have you been always excited about working out and helping people exercise? How did this journey begin as a child?
Okay, so my whole life I've always been, I guess, an athlete. Like not like the typical athlete where it's like, oh, I played basketball and football. No, I did none of those things. I just loved being active. And that's how I look at being quote an athlete, right? And so I was always and also I think ROTC really helped me. I was in ROTC back in high school and in college. So ROTC stands for Reserve Officer Training Corps. It's for people who want to go into the military. And of course, when you go into the military, you need to have super body strength, right? And so when I was in high school doing it, I was very competitive and really was. I think I was pretty strong, but when I got into college was when I was much stronger.
Wow.
And then after college, I obviously didn't make it into officer candidate school. That's a whole nother story of how God just shut that door. And and I had a whole surrender to Him about like where He was taking me. But I've always loved like being healthy, being fit. And then once I learned about the health message and the kosher laws, that ratified my concept of like health, and that helped a lot in helping me see the true perspective of God's plan for us and matching the beauty of the physiological aspect of health into our body, right? And like
Uh-huh.
how it all works and functions. And once I understood that, it was just like, wow, our body is amazing. Like this is so cool, you
Wow.
know.
Wow.
So it just transformed my whole life, and so that was the biggest thing was just finally like learning that and just seeing everything kind of come together, and just how fitness works with our body along with proper nutrition, and then I don't know, I just took off with it. And then when I lived in Korea, I constantly exercised. I don't think I really stopped.
So I mean, you're using that health element in your YouTube hobby thing already occupation, so the work was already going with your YouTube channel, I guess. So
Right.
what is that kosher? Because I'm still not understanding what that kosher means.
Kosher. Um, that's a good question. I always think when we say kosher, we like point that out to like the Jewish faith of things that are not quote unclean, right?
Yeah.
So if things are kosher, well, there's two things. I've heard that people say kosher is when a rabbi actually like blesses the food to make it kosher. But from my understand of kosher, I never heard that because then that'd be weird. Because like, couldn't you just pray? Then that means like a rabbi could pray over pork and it'd be kosher. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I think from a biblical standpoint of what makes something kosher is that it's done, like the things that they eat are biblically based and that it's a clean food item.
Oh.
So yeah, so from like the Bible, certain food items were restricted, and I
Ah.
think it's because of how certain foods affect the body,
Mm.
which is like why they like Jews don't eat pork,
Mm.
and because of the fact that pigs are generally like the bottom feeders
Uh-huh.
of the world. They're kind of
Uh-huh.
like the garbage disposal of the world because they'll eat anything and everything,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's why they're considered unclean.
Mm.
Whereas, and there's like different laws, in scripture that tells us and identifies what's clean and not clean.
Mm.
I think when we say kosher, we're referring to those health laws that are in the Bible.
Wow. So kosher is not based on arbitrary stupid rule that has no reason, but it sounds like has all the scientific data and reasons for it. So
Yeah.
um so have you been always healthy, or did you experience any health benefit in your health journey?
I was absolutely, absolutely. I think one of the number one thing that I definitely noticed is how I look back at some of my pictures and I realize I don't look like I've ever aged.
Wow. That's
I think
awesome.
that's probably one of the biggest ones, because like everyone was like, when I came back from Korea, I'd been there for like 7 years, and some of my friends I hadn't seen for like 10 years, and they're like, Pearl, I feel like, I swear, you haven't even aged. You look exactly the same way you left high school. It's crazy. Or
Wow.
college. So it was just like a compliment to that I started recognizing, because like when I look at my own family bloodline, like some of my family members who don't eat the way that I do, and I look at them and I compare, like the health message and the healthy lifestyle, I definitely see a huge difference. And not that it's any means of judgment or like emphasizing like physical appearance or anything, but I would say kind of like in Daniel chapter, in Daniel in
Yeah.
chapter 1 or 2, right?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
it's like they did the 10 days
Uh-huh.
to like test
Uh-huh.
them.
Uh-huh.
It was like the first scientific, I would say test that was done.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it says that they look healthier.
Uh-huh.
And I definitely can see a huge difference, like with my family. And like I said, like no judgment against them, but definitely a notice of like how I eat versus how they eat, and like how different we look.
Wow.
Like people look so much older than me
Uh-huh.
based on what it is that they eat. And if me being plant-based makes me look, 15 years younger,
Uh-huh.
then I mean, a lot of people still think I'm like 18, 21. And I'm like, no, honey, I'm like way more than that.
Wow, that's amazing. So, you have been interested in pursuing PhD degree in the specific area of depression, and I've been studying different things about happiness level. And what do you say about the relationship element and the mental health element as a health coach?
Oh, wow. I mean, it's huge. Like, as a personal fitness trainer, we know that exercise boosts the immune system. It increases your endorphin levels, so it helps, makes you happy. Generally, I always quote, and this probably ages me, but Legally Blonde, where she goes, happy people don't kill people. I had the last gentleman that I was working with. I shouldn't say last because he was one of the last, I would say, clients that ended up doing a marathon, and he was talking about how running has helped his mental health. It helped him out of depression, and
Wow.
I said I absolutely agree with that.
Wow.
You know, when you're running, there's so many benefits to your cortisone levels, your serotonin levels, just all of these hormonal balancing that happens when you run and when you exercise that just helps you stay healthy mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically.
Mm.
And so I think like when people feel good about their body, that
Uh-huh.
triggers immediately a mental feel good, right?
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. So you said you've been very popular and you had a lot of customers. So what's your secret to satisfying your customer? How do you do that as a health
I
coach?
don't think I say popular, but I would say that I've been blessed with having a good full load
Sure.
back when I worked at the gym. I would
I
say,
guess popular is a kind of a correct word.
connecting.
Connecting.
I would say, yeah, connecting with your clients.
Okay.
Like some of the things that I would do for my clients, like if my clients would tell me, like I had one client, who told me, oh, her dog died. So I went out of my way and got her, like a sympathy card,
Wow.
or like another client who told me, oh, my birthday's coming up, or I'll send a get well birthday card or whatever. It's
Wow.
like these things, like connecting with your client,
Mm.
knowing. Or I had one client who was just one time we went through a workout, and then after that I got to just talk to her and pray with her actually, because she was
Mm.
just going through something, struggling through something, and and me just being able to resonate. And sometimes, as a personal trainer, I also am not just a coach, but I'm also sometimes a therapist. And
Mm. Wow.
and so that's one of those things that you just learn that when people work out, it isn't just about, oh, I want to get fit or whatever. Sure, they have these goals to feel good, but sometimes it's a deeper spiritual issue,
Mm.
and sometimes it's a deeper mental issue. And
Mm.
once they end up recognizing what those barriers or limitations are, some of them will end up, healing
Wow.
during the process of their fitness journey.
Wow. Wow, that sounds so beautiful. So this is the last question. So you deal with both mind and body and
Yeah.
spirit. Last question. So what's your future plan?
My future plan? Oh man, I've been praying a lot about that. Honestly, like my future plan, it's a future dream. I would say. There's so many plans, but future dreams in terms of my business, right? That we're mainly talking about, not
Yeah, yeah,
personal.
yeah. Yeah.
But business wise, I want to eventually have my own studio and not rent a studio, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh.
So that's a dream, have my own personal studio. And I like have a vision for it, but I'm just building up and seeing where God takes me. But I think the most important thing of my dream is really to help heal people
Mm.
mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. All four, I feel like, is kind of where I'm at in my life.
Mm.
That as much as I would love to
Mm.
be famous, if I could help people in that sense, like that would be a blessing to me. I think I want to help people heal, and feel good about their bodies moving again.
Wow, that's awesome. So, what's the difference between renting a studio and owning your own studio? What limitation do you have as a renter?
Um,
I
I
mean,
can't, like
tenant.
for example, I
Yeah.
can't host, like for example,
Yeah.
like I want to be able to host events, and I can't do that at my studio because it's not mine. And
Ah.
because other people are using it, I have limited times that I'm allowed to use
Ah.
it.
I see.
So yeah, so that's the limitation that I have. So like I would have loved to have like a health seminar, Like,
Ah.
okay, guys, this is a free seminar that you guys can come to where I can teach you how to cook certain
Ah.
foods and how, or do a meal prep day just to show people how easy it is to meal prep food for like, a week's worth or even 3 days worth of food. Like, I
Ah.
could do those things, but I couldn't do that at a studio that I rent.
Ah, so you want more things you can't do without having to abide by whatever they tell you to do. So, is studio is a public place where different personal coaches come and meet with their clients?
Correct. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
it is
didn't
a
know that.
public place, but
Oh.
but 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 one of the things that's nice is that it actually is only appointment based. So like
Oh.
you can't just walk into the studio and say, "Oh, I want a trainer." No, you have to contact us or
Oh.
or through however people contact you and say, "Hey, I want to do this, and this is how we're gonna do it."
Oh, I think I
And
might. I think I've seen my student talking about it, about her app where she goes and do something. I forgot the name of it. Some kind of physical exercise. So it's reservation based. Oh, I see.
right.
Wow, thank you so much, Pearl. I learned so much from you as a business owner. I feel all the pain that you have gone through, and I know exactly what you're talking
I
about.
bet.
Ah, it's just so exciting every moment of it. And
Right.
do you think I can do this a few years later to see how it's going?
Yeah, that would be cool. Just wait like a few years.
Yeah, a few years, not like next month.
Yeah, exactly. I'll
I'll
probably have a story after like 3 years.
Yeah, yeah. I'll I'll also ask your husband if I can interview him.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. I hope you
yeah.
have a great night and have a great day the next day and help more people be healed.
Well, thank you for sure.
Nice to talk to you again.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.